CSI Podcast number 9. It's been a while. I think the last one we did was in June sometime.
The end of June. Been a while.
Let's see, June, July, September, November, August. Got you about 4 or 5 months. And this is actually, we were kind of having some fun. Oh, today's September 4th. Actually, this won't be available to the knowing public till September 5th. We're recording for the first time, and we're actually at the CSI offices in sunny Henderson. Whereas what were we saying in the underbelly of Henderson, in the shadows of Sunset Casino?
The bowels of Las Vegas.
Yeah, we're hunkered down, waiting for another tropical storm. Whatever the case may be. We've been gone for a while, but we've been kind of busy. We had our nationals and had a bunch of things going on. Mr. Ozzy here, the one with the shiny head, is going to be talking about industry news, and then we'll just be having some fun after that.
Yeah, we'll lead it off with a little industry news. So
one more thing, 2 things. You got to say thank you for Mr. Justin, who you can't see, but we can, and you'll hear him. And my future hot date has passed away. Joan Rivers checked out today. And I hated to hear that, because I tell you what, she was a funny girl, but that fashion show thing on TV, East Channel, was hilarious. And, hey, everybody misses her. It's just like, I mean, she's as well-known and everything as Robin Williams was, so it's just, you know.
Unfortunate part of life.
Yes. You'll learn that one day.
I hope it's a long time from now.
Yes, sir. We'll read about it. Okay, here we are. Let's get on with the show.
All right, industry news. Again, it's been a while since we did one of these. June, usually I only have to look at the industry news for a couple weeks, but I went back, and Darren Appleton wins the 14.1 World Tournament over Shane Van Boening.
You're just tempting me, aren't you?
I'm tempting you. The World 14.1. He won over Shane Van Boening. And reading through the article on AZ Billiards, Darren started off with a 69-ball run, followed by a 131 and out.
Darren, fairly new to the world of straight pool, and has done quite well. Last year he had a 200 and out, which some people are trying to say is the longest run, because tournaments are a funny thing. Normally they don't let you continue an unfinished run, so you have to, if it's a 200-point game, that's as high as you can run. But Shane hasn't been playing. I don't think he played straight pool until 2 years ago. But when you get to that level, and that brings up the old argument: today's equipment versus yesterday's equipment. I just think it's a lot easier now. And even though that is not a real world tournament, it is called the World Tournament. So, but I appreciate the fact that it continues and it's in its 5th year, not 74th. But it's straight pool is the granddaddy of all games. It is. If you want to play anything else, play straight pool. And all of us, even probably you're just a kid, but Justin and I and everybody else, we all learned straight pool is the game you learn on 9-foot tables. Now people play 9-ball on a bar box, and it's just not the same.
Speak for yourself there, Kimosabi.
What, you've never seen a 9-foot table before?
I didn't know. Nobody in my generation learned playing straight pool.
I just thought you were that old.
I'm a color of money generation, man. It was 9-ball.
And see, they're already calling me names in my own building.
You probably want us to go back to clay balls too, don't you?
Boy, those things were brutal. That's what I learned on. And nappy cloth.
Another notable fact that I thought it was worthy of mentioning in the 14.1 tournament, Max Eberle, local player, Las Vegas player, finished 3rd. I think that was either tied for the best showing he's ever had there, or was the best he's had there.
I think he tied. I think 2 years ago he was 3rd.
But he played Shane Van Boening in the semifinals, and he lost 200 to 178. And he lost because he was at 178 with a breakout shot. He shoots,
makes the ball,
hits the pack, scratches.
Yeah, well.
So the scratch cost him, but he finished 3rd, and that was a very, very
Max
strong
is a
finish.
real talented. His best game is straight pool, and he was a national junior collegiate champion or something. That's what they played back then. So.
Another thing, this probably would not have got noted, except it was near and dear to my heart. Breakers Sky Lounge in Herndon, Virginia, a place I've been to many times and hosted my own tournaments there. It was announced that they are going to be hosting the WPBA Tour Championships.
Oh, that's right. I read that. Yeah, what do they call it? RTC?
Yep, Regional Tour Championships.
They do it once a year.
That'll be a little bit later this year. I actually didn't have the exact dates, but great venue. So if you're in that area, check that out. Look them up. It'll be a great event. Also, Skylar Woodward went undefeated in the Smoking Aces 9-Ball Open. That was a bar table event, 16-player, $2,000 entry fee. And one of the reasons I wanted to note that is just previous to that, Skylar won our Grandmaster 8-Ball event at the BCAPL National Championships.
He is on fire.
Well, not only is he on fire, but I think he's proving to not only be a monster on any table, but particularly on bar tables, he's strong.
Yeah.
Skylar's doing well.
Well, he beat Shane badly.
Yes.
At this Smoking Aces, and it had a pretty strong Calcutta, but the $2,000 entry fee. It's a new trend in pool, and a lot of it's because the professional events are kind of disappearing because, like we went to invitationals, and a lot of people are going to smaller fields. They're manageable. You don't have to start dragging equipment in and fighting all the logistics, because logistics cost money.
Yep. Then that was followed by Justin Bergman, won the Carom Room Classic by defeating Skylar Woodward.
Yep.
And this is one that's going to be near and dear to your heart, Mark.
Yep.
So you can elaborate on it if you want to. The American Rotation Championship Series number 3, which was held alongside our BCAPL National Championships at the Rio in Las Vegas back in July. Mike DeShane, in his second attempt, won that, beating, I'm probably saying it wrong, Jerry Calderone
From Florida,
who won the previous.
Right, and he's married, and he's not really he's not known as a full-time player. He must play pretty sporty. Yeah, this is a 9-foot table event. This is the series of competitions that Joe Tucker and I are involved in. It's the game is American Rotation. The entity is called ABC League. It's the American Billiard Club, and it is probably the best opportunity for a mid-speed player, shortstop or whatever, to see how he matches up, because you play it in your own home room. Joe has changed the flexibility and the format a little bit. You have 8 to 10 players play in one room. One of those people is going to go to the Nationals, and with a minimum of $1,000 prize. And so that way, 8 people of the same equivalent speed of skill level can play amongst themselves. One of the things that was on AZ Billiards, a couple of people were saying, well, if Mike DeShane plays, he's going to win it every time. Not true. He did win this time. He didn't win last time. And in the final game, Jerry Calderone and DeShane, the score was 121 to 119, playing to 150.
I'm going to say he barely won.
DeShane did not run away with anything. And it's a 15-ball rotation. It's a very level playing field. The best player is supposed to win, but it's alternating break, ball in hand after the break. So there's a lot of equalizers there. And if anybody's interested in what's going on with the American rotation, you need to get a hold of Joe Tucker. You can go to Joe Tucker's, any of his websites. Oops.
Yeah, I don't have it. My bad.
It's AmericanBilliardClub.com, or you go to the Facebook page. And you can call him, 508-840-6133. The 4th season of American Rotation is going on right now. The finals will be played the week before the U.S. Open in mid-October. The next one will begin right after that. It'll be series number 5, and the finals of that will be played at the Derby City Classic in late January. The concept here is to get the finals, because that's obviously your better players, to where they can go to a major 9-foot event and offset and not have double traveling costs. So they're already there playing in one event, and they're guaranteed $1,000. At the session 3, which we played at our event, I'm trying to remember, but I think the total prize is right around $15,000 with 13 or 12 players. And this is off of $15 or $20 a week for 8 to 10 weeks, depending, or 8 to 9 weeks, depends how many players are in your. It's a heck of a deal, and we've been adding more money that's been coming in. That's going to have to change, so we need a little more player involvement. Another, addressing a little bit the questions on AZ Billiards, is why not form a professional American Rotation series, and that's what this was intended for. And unfortunately, the professional players, how did Joe Tucker say it? They're not used to this format very well. That means showing up and playing once a week at a regular scheduled time. It's, you know, and you can have flexibility in your, you don't have to make a match. You don't have to play every Tuesday night. It's a round robin format with 8 players, 9 players. If I know I'm going to play them, we can call it and we can play at 4 in the morning. Doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, you better not show up, buddy.
You know, you talk a lot, you know. When I get done with you, the rest of your hair will be gone. But I'm excited about the possibilities of American rotation, as you can probably tell, and I really hope that some people will get behind it. Follow the Shreds on AZ Billiards. They're trying to get some more going. It's getting pretty good acceptance on the East Coast. There's a little bit here on the West Coast. It just needs a little more participation because it could be the future of pool. So that's about all I'll say on that.
I want to say a little bit about Virtual Pool 4.
Well, we can touch on it. I want to double back to the WPBA, which is the women's. Okay. They're reinvigorating themselves, or trying to. I wish them the best. They've been they came on hard times the last few years, as has the whole industry. But they've got a new board, and we were contacted by them. We'll see if we can help them out. I don't see a real path right now, but pool's pool, and we're in favor of it. So, Virtual Pool 4. That's I'm not much of a nerdy computer game guy. I thought you would probably know everything about it. Steve Chaplin is the inventor, owner of the thing, and it's an awesome game. I've seen it demonstrated. The graphics this thing are unbelievable. It's literally if you have a ball roll by a 4-ball, you can see the reflection of the light. It's just amazing, and he's been gracious enough to where CSI and BCA Pool League and USA Pool League, even TAR, were sponsors of some of the events. And there's a number of events. There's 9-ball, 10-ball, 3-ball, 6-ball, you name it. Please check it out. It's the most advanced, most realistic game there is out there. It's just a VP4 or Virtual Pool 4. The first one, it's been around for probably 20 years, and it's pretty exciting. And we'll get a little more. Maybe we'll get some demos and teach Justin how to run a computer so he can. Maybe Justin can beat me at Virtual Pool. You think? He's nodding his head. He's
no
waiting.
comment.
I don't hear anything. My goodness. All right, so I'm done yabbering for 30 seconds.
Okay, well, you're dismissed. See you later.
Thank you, sir.
All right, on to CSI News. Well, we're done with the BCA Pool League, USA Pool League National Championships. And as I predicted, in the months leading up to this thing, and you were all flustered and your hair was all over the place and you weren't getting any sleep, it was no big deal. It was
your hair obviously doesn't get flustered, but you weren't there last year. That's all I got to say. This year did go a lot smoother. 312
tables, thousands of participants, thousands of spectators, 10 days. Easy. Piece of cake. Piece of cake. And you know why it went smoother? Me and Justin.
Well, it's nice to know that there's they tell me to be a decent pool player, you have to have a realistic degree of self-confidence. You guys are over the top. You should be running thousands. No, the event went pretty good. It was your first event. It went so much smoother than last year, and the good news is next year is going to go super smooth because even Justin doesn't know this, but we have a week between us and the World Series of Poker next year, Justin. The calendar moved, and we moved our week, but they didn't move the World Series of Poker.
That'll make everything easier.
How strong is that?
It'll be good.
Because, man, if you're not there, we're waiting for somebody to go bust in a poker game so we can move a table in. It just gets ridiculous. But
Rick's crew will love that.
All joking aside, it was a heck of an experience. I've never, ever been involved in anything of that size.
It is the world's greatest pool tournament.
It was great. We were putting in 14, 16-hour days every day. Lots of meetings. Everybody in the world wants to talk to you and grab you for 20 minutes. It wasn't possible to do everybody, but it was a great experience. Went really well overall. Had a couple snags, which you would expect. but overall it was terrific.
And we
I
had
thought everything went really
in
well.
conjunction with the amateur events, we had the invitational 10 ball and invitational 8 ball, which were pretty exciting. Those Cole brothers, they put a spanking on some people. It was just, the older one has been here before. I watched him actually win the only time I've been to Germany, a WPA meeting. He won the World's Juniors, but he played in one of our events at the Riviera, and I did respectable. But
well, the younger
man,
one, Ping Chung Ko,
it's,
and I'm going off memory, so forgive me if I get something wrong, but I believe he went undefeated in the 10 ball until the finals, where he lost to his brother. And then he went undefeated in the 8 ball.
Yeah.
How strong is that?
with that field.
That's.
I mean,
he's 19.
Yeah, and we had
19,
champions. We had Orcuyo and Shane Van Boning and Thorsten and
It's ridiculous.
our buddy Ralph, and we had a bunch of players in there.
It was ridiculous.
It was an awesome display.
But
And we're hoping to have them back next year. We haven't really completely decided what we're going to do next year. We haven't had time to really discuss it. That's what's going to happen between now and Christmas.
Yep.
I mean, that's still 8, 9, 10 months ago. Well, it's 10 months away. So.
Well, and next year will be even better. We had a post-tournament meeting that lasted pretty much all day, really. Laundry list after list after list of items to improve for next year. Lots of good feedback. So I can't wait to get started on that, but that's a few months down the road.
Well, I think that was some of the finest pool that this country's ever seen.
Agreed.
It was pretty cool.
Yep.
Pretty cool
So,
pool.
I didn't think it was a worthwhile effort to sit here and go through the list of all the winners of all 30-something events. We're not going to do that. You can find that on ctsondemand.com. But I just wanted to mention that it was a great event. If you weren't there, you really missed out. You need to get there next year. So now we'll move on.
Please.
We also just finished. In fact, I went and just got back a few days ago. We did the 2014 Southwest Regional Championships. It's BCAPL Southwest Regional Championships. That was in Scottsdale, Arizona.
At Fort McDowell.
Fort McDowell. It's currently called the Radisson, and it's sort of attached to a casino. They're going to do a little name change.
Yeah.
But the venue was terrific.
It's beautiful.
My first
it's
time
very
there.
Indian-ish. I mean, it's a native owned, and it's
The hotel staff was fantastic. The venue was great. The food was good. Everything was affordable. It was a great drive, and we liked it so much, and the hotel liked having us there so much that we're actually working on a 2-year deal, which we expect to finish pretty soon.
And this is, how many years have we had it there? 3 years or 4 years?
Wasn't here, you're asking.
Yeah, and I can't remember. But they always drug their feet, and we wouldn't get the contract till like 4 months before the event. Now we're going to have a contract 2 or 3 years out, 2 or 3 out in advance, where you can do some decent planning and everything. It's a great little event.
And Mark says little event. These numbers might be off slightly, but from what I could tell, and I wasn't digging into all of the numbers, I was putting this together pretty quick, but we had about 273 participants. That's up slightly from last year. 433 entries. Again, we're working on a 2-year deal, same venues, same dates, the weekend before Labor Day weekend. I can't wait to go back. Actually played
about $20,000 in prize fund. It's low entry. We're not adding thousands of dollars everywhere, but it's a great little tournament. It's just awesome. And it's comfortable, and it's clean, and it's hot.
And I played terrible.
He did.
I lost.
He did.
And I still had a good time.
Well, you should be used to that. I mean, it's winners that smile.
Hey man, when I lose, I win.
Okay, you're right.
Wanted to give everybody a note about the 2015 U.S. Bar Table Championships coming up in February.
This is like the 21st year or something now. Been going on a long time.
That's why I like just putting a year. You never mix that up.
Okay. All right.
February 16th through the 22nd, 2015 U.S. Bar Table Championships. Same venue, Grand Sierra Resort and Casino in Reno, Nevada.
Now, you've been there.
I've been there.
Nice place.
Awesome place.
It's a 4-star by a Vegas standards. It's a 5-star by Reno standards. But, I mean, when Justin goes up there, too, I mean, they have a, what was that sushi all you can eat, $24.95 or something like that?
Yeah, something like
that. It
that.
was great.
No, that's probably the nicest, well, I don't know. It's top tier in Reno, no doubt.
Oh, it's, yeah. This is where this IPT second tournament was held for pool freaks and everything, but
No.
it's quite a place. A
We don't-
50-lane bowling alley. And
We don't have all the details out. We're still working on the flyer and the entry forms and all that. But in the coming weeks, we plan to have all that released. But one thing I want to point out right now that seems to be a misconception for a lot of people, this is not a tournament where you have to be a league member to participate. This is an open tournament, open to anybody, anywhere. All you have to do is show up in Reno, Nevada, pay your entry fee, and you can play.
correct.
So this is not a tournament where you have to have a certain number of weeks in a certain league. It's open to anybody, U.S. Bar Table Championships.
We've had places in the past do a little qualifier in their bar in Timbuktu, and the winner comes to Vegas.
Yep.
We have, because we start off with 10 ball, then we go to 9 ball, and then we play 8 ball. It's bar table. There's 40 tables. It's a tough field. Don't think you're going to get a cakewalk. I mean, one year we had like 7 world champions playing in. But you know, it's
a great time.
It's a great time, and it's pretty inexpensive. The rooms are 54 and 64, double occupancy. You get Wi-Fi if you're a guest with our under our code. You get shuttle back and forth. You get it's. I mean, for the price, you just can't beat it.
Yeah,
I mean, you
great.
just can't beat it.
Another note about that event, last year, the U.S. Open One Pocket was held in conjunction with that event. This year, we're not going to do that. I know the One Pocket players might not like that, but the fact of the matter is it just wasn't a good fit. It's the U.S. Bar Table Championships, and to haul those 9-foot tables in there for the U.S. Open One Pocket, there were issues with people playing in both events, and we're getting conflicts, and then just plain the cost. The cost of getting those tables there is just prohibitive.
Let me give a little background on that, because the only reason we did the U.S. Open One Pocket there is because we went away from the U.S. Opens in Vegas and went to Invitational. So we weren't going to have the 8, 10, 12, 16 tables that you needed. We only had really 4 tables for competition at our Nationals in July. Alongside of that part of the decision was Bob Bolio was running a thing called World PPA, or World Pool Players Association, I think, WPPA, basically out of the Sacramento Bay Area, San Francisco. And he ran it for 2 or 3 years, and he had his finals in Reno. And he has decided not to do that. So the only reason we had the One Pocket there in the first place, because Bob Bolio was doing his event, and it could share the cost with the One Pocket. The fact that he's not doing it, and it wasn't really a good fit for the One Pocket, he says, all right, let's just reanalyze this One Pocket thing. I'm not sure what we're going to do in the One Pocket. We're coming up with possible options. There's a new room opening up in Vegas. It's going to have 8 9-foot diamonds. We're talking about them having the preliminary rounds and having 4 tables, and have it in between our invitational 8 ball and our invitational 10 ball where we can do streaming. We have to do something that doesn't make us bring 8 or 10 or 12 tables out here, because it's thousands of dollars of freight costs, thousands of dollars of hanging lights, because the Rio, like everything else in Vegas, is union, and we cannot overcome it. It's an economics thing. And we'll keep everybody posted, because I really appreciate I like One Pocket. It's, you know, it's old school. It's better than straight pool. But you guys, since you guys don't know what straight pool is, how the hell you know what One Pocket is? Jeez.
Yeah, maybe in 40 years when I can't see anymore, I'll
That's true.
take it
We'll
up.
have playing Braille One Pocket.
Okay, so more details to be added on those events.
Just keep posted, and we'll you know, we both get active on AZ as things happen. Again, it's not till if it happens in conjunction with our tournament. It's not till next July. It's 9 months, and even some people didn't like it as close as it was in February because it was too close to the Derby. So it's hard to make everybody happy anyhow.
Right. Right. Well, I wanted to touch briefly on just some future long-term stuff for CSI. Well, some short-term stuff, some long-term stuff.
Well, you're still short-term, so you can't talk long-term.
Yeah, maybe.
Just don't tell me I'm short-term, because I might take it personal.
We're undergoing some internal changes. Got a little bit of restructuring going on, some new initiatives, some changes, and various responsibilities for people. So that's keeping us pretty busy. So we want to kind of clean up, get our house in order here, and then we'll be better prepared to hit that big bad world out there. We're building a new website. Right now we have 3 websites, which made my head spin when I got here. But it's playbca.com, playcsipool.com, and playusapool.com. And you can figure out what those sites are for. One's for one league, one's for another league, and one is sort of a catch-all.
CSI is the parent,
kind of.
plus the bar table, the Swanee, things
Yep.
like that are all under the CSI umbrella.
Yep.
They're closer. They're merging though. They're
Yeah, and there's some benefits to having 3 individual sites, but one of the problems with that is maintenance and updates. It's a nightmare. For example, some information crosses all 3 of those boundaries. So when you want to update something on your website, in a lot of cases you got to do it 3 places, which is not very efficient. So plus our existing websites, quite frankly, are a little bit old and outdated. So we're going to go to something new. It's not going to happen like that, but we're working on it pretty aggressively, and Justin is a major part of this, and he's doing a great job so far. But we're going to have one website where a person can get to any area they want to get to. If you're only interested in BCA Pool League information, you can go to that section of the site with the click of a button. If you're only interested in USA Pool League related material, you can go there at the click of a button. If you want to see a little bit of everything, it's going to be very easy to navigate, going to be real user-friendly, and we're going to eliminate some of the unnecessary information that we might have now.
I'm not a computer guy, but my experience with websites, I think we should all get $2 and throw them all away and just do paper, pencil, paper, pencil, and landlines.
As you're speaking through a camera.
I know, it's just this website stuff. Everybody says, "Oh yeah, it'll make things easier." Believe me, it doesn't. It's just, ay.
Yep.
But we're attacking it one more time. I'm sure it's not going to be the last time. I know it's not
it won't
the
be
first time.
it won't be the last time, but it'll be better.
I hope.
We also, as we just mentioned previously, we need to determine what we're going to do for future pro events. We'll have pro events. We just need to determine exactly what it will be. So there'll be more details
I mean, like
coming
whether
on
they're
that.
open or invitational and things like that.
Sure.
Big decisions.
And when and where, and you know, do we discuss U.S. Opens coming back? I mean, there's a lot of things to talk about.
There's a lot of things.
Something that is a long-term goal for me is some type of junior program. I think we're losing a generation of pool players, and that if we don't act, we're all going to be in big trouble.
I agree.
Everybody's league membership is getting older, and there's not as many younger players replacing those folks that are exiting. So we got to do something about that to try to grow the sport amongst our younger people. And I don't, there's some folks out there doing some things, but I'm not convinced that it solves the problem. So quite frankly, I think we need to look into that.
Well, and to be fair and clarifying here a little bit, we still endorse and support the BEF, the Billiard Education Foundation, because that's not really a junior league program. And I'm involved, or CSI is involved with this. A new thing we're coming out with is going to be working on. We're just about finished. Another couple months. It hasn't been a priority. That's why it's been taking so long. It's called Six Pocket, and we're going to be making that available to all the boys and girls clubs. So that's going to introduce to them to pool and a method of. It's a game that you can measure a person's ability, and it's a singles game. So we're doing some things in the background, and I think it has some great potential in the future. All we can do is try, because you're right. I'm from Alaska. You knew that, right?
No, I don't think anybody knew that.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm from Alaska. And we lost a full generation of players. It was like it wasn't beaches, or they weren't surfing, but it was just video games and all this stuff. It's crazy. And the pool industry needs a Ronald McDonald.
Well, the problem is, say you get the kids, where do they play?
Oftentimes that's a huge issue, because most of the places that have pool tables now are bars.
Yeah.
And not only is it a legal dilemma, it can be a moral dilemma.
Yeah, and Justin, you highlighted a big problem, which needs to be part of a junior program. It needs to address that problem. You can't send kids into bars. Pool halls are closing. They're fading out. It's an issue.
Well, that's also the beauty of Six Pocket, because it can be played on a game table in somebody's house. We're not, favoring playing leagues in houses or anything. We're just favoring playing pool anywhere, because this industry still needs a kick in the butt to get it back up and going. I was talking to Ian Anderson, who's president of the WPA. He called me a little earlier today, and he says, "Where's the excitement of pool gone? Where he's going on and on and on about darts. Have you ever seen darts on TV? They make it extremely exciting. Even snooker. Snooker is so stale, but it's the crowd. They get thousands of people, and they really understand it. It's so understated and so elegant, you know.
Yep.
And it's. I'm not sure. I don't know if somebody would say to me, "What is the problem with pool?" You know, I don't think I could tell them because I don't think I know. I mean, really, what is the problem with pool?
Well, it's boring to watch.
Well, so it just doesn't get any respect.
Well,
I mean, the biggest thing, you can't get the fans.
There's no problem with the pool. The only people who have a problem with pool are the people that try to make a living with it.
Well, yeah.
Everyone else enjoys it for what it is.
And there's, okay.
I mean,
it's
there's only a
recreation.
problem with pool if you're trying to do
Make a
it for
living.
work. Yeah.
But there's other games that, you know, I've seen people say, well, tennis is terribly boring and golf. But, you know, I find them boring if I was to try to watch them every day. But I'll watch them for an hour or two. I think it's exciting. It's kind of fun. It's like, you know, you see, but it's bowling, curling. I mean, of course, I don't think too many people make their living curling.
Well, I mean, to me, it all goes back to the same story. We had Shane and Alex playing arguably one of the greatest
Best
matches I've ever seen,
Yep.
especially on the final day.
Yeah, in a room with 7,000 pool players.
Literally 20 feet across the hall.
Yeah,
And couldn't.
30 people.
Yeah, for most of the match.
And you're not the only one. Every side by side always has that issue, and and to me, I have to agree, it is very hard to watch. I don't know if it's I don't know.
But, I mean, to me, if you look at what's successful, I mean, it makes sense to me after, you know, the years I've spent in this game. Why beat your head against the wall? Look at what's successful and then try to grow that. What's successful is the amateurs.
Leagues.
Yeah.
And that's what I told Ian. The future of pool in America is leagues. And in all honesty, if that was to be, say, a generation, the next generation will now, the professional players will grow out of the leagues.
Well,
it's an evolution process.
You know, I think what you're seeing, too, you mentioned it, and I think it's a good thing when you're seeing these smaller tournaments, these high entry fee tournaments, 2,000, 5,000, that they're doing in pool rooms and stuff. That's good because it'll wean this generation of players off of, oh, if it doesn't have 20,000 added, I'm not going. What's the point?
I
The
agree.
added money has ruined. Show me a poker tournament has added money.
Yeah.
Now golf, sure, but it's sponsorship money. It's not. It's, you know, it's Nike or Rolex or, you know.
Well, and the other thing too is it will add a bar to entry. So so now that was one. Greg and I had a discussion about doing something, a high entry fee tour. You know, he was kicking around ideas about, you know, what would work and things like that. And we were talking about, you know, he made a statement that's always stuck with me when I said, well, do you think you could get guys to pay a $5,000 or a $2,000 or whatever, a high entry fee? And he made a great point. He said, look, if you can't get somebody to put up $3,000 or $4,000 for you to play in a tournament,
Then
you're not a pro.
You don't belong there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But the
So-
fields would be very, very small.
And good.
No, I first of all, to make a sport, you need to have people that excel at that sport, and so you have name recognition. Now, Shane has almost gotten that in the U.S., I'd have to say, but he hasn't gotten it outside the industry. But when Earl Anthony was bowling, everybody knew who Earl Anthony was, and when Mickey Mantle was
you
playing
got to look
baseball,
too, though.
you know,
People say the industry. Like I've heard people say, well, you know, you hear it all the time. Why don't these Q companies support pro pool and put a bunch of, you know, they think these companies are like Ford. You know, these companies are tiny. There is no money in it.
Yeah.
There's no money anywhere in the industry. There's nobody out there that could say, look, we're going to sink $500,000 over 3 or 4 years into this. I mean, it's not even an option.
Yeah.
So,
and it wouldn't accomplish anything.
right.
If again, to get major acceptance, you have to be on TV, and TV has shown that they're not interested. ESPN could give up.
Yeah.
They just don't care. And
But-
this ESPN3 or whatever is the internet TV, that's death. You
Well,
know, it's very.
I mean, to me, we saw the most successful thing, in my opinion, in this game, and that was the tournament in July.
Yeah, I think
That's the coolest thing in
it
this
has
country.
Some huge potential.
And
We can make it better.
yeah, and to me, if you know, it blows my mind that you have an event that size with that many people from that many different places, and we don't have any kind of outside corporate interest in marketing to those people. And to
Hey,
me,
get local newspaper coverage. And we tried. Didn't try real hard because how much effort can you put into something that?
well, and you know, and the flip side of that is maybe there is interest in it, they just don't know about
Yeah.
it. So how do you go get them?
Yeah,
But I mean, to me, I think, you know, it's pretty gloomy when you look at if you're trying to get pool on television, if you're trying to make pool into golf or any of these other sports like you see some people always talking about, it's just never going to happen, man. But that don't mean it can't get better.
Sure. Well, you and I were talking too. You pointed out like bass fishing, but they're always buying lures and boats and this and that, and it's self-supporting from the industry. But I'm playing with a cue stick that's 22 years old. The tip's 5 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you going to do?
Right.
Somebody's going to really make a living off.
You can go buy a used gold crown for $1,000. You can spend $500 on a cue, $200 on a case,
and you're set.
And you're set for life.
Yeah.
I mean,
you need to get a set of Cyclop balls.
Yeah. Well, there you go. But so it's tough. Yeah. It's a different thing.
It is. Oh well. I mean, we'll hopefully keep plugging away and something will happen. Well, pool's never going away. It's just going to take a different.
But going back to the juniors thing that you started with it, that's going to be vital for any type of future. Because if you look, I mean, I was having this discussion with someone. We were talking about the pro game, and I told him pro game's 10 years away from being completely dead, if that. I mean, we're already seeing the end of it, and I mean, compared to where it was.
The pro game right now.
Compared to what it was with the big open events and 50,000 added, 25,000 added, you know, I think that era's gone. And a guy was like, "Well, what about this or that?" And I said, you know, in this country, look at who the promoters are. Who's left?
Not many of us.
Yeah, and now that you know that, you know, yeah, exactly. How many of them are going to be doing this in 10 years? You know, I mean.
I feel pretty special all of a sudden.
Let me think. 10 years.
Right, but I mean, think about it.
No,
you know, and you do one event a year.
Yeah.
So even if you are doing it in 10 years.
Well, the bar table could be called almost a pro, and so could the Swanee. But you're right. It's minimal.
Here's the great thing. Everything both of you have just said, I think, is true. But here's the great thing. Pool is never going to be a mainstream spectator sport.
Nope.
However, it is a very strong participative sport.
Yes.
Amateur pool is alive and well. Millions of people in this country play pool on a weekly basis. Some more than that. Some it's several times a week. So we're confined to a sport that is a participative sport, but it has very strong participation. So that's a good thing.
No, it's not going away. It's just going to come. It'll just be a different level of awareness. It'll be played. You know, I don't expect pool halls to keep shrinking.
I think pool halls are going to go the way of drive-in movies. I really do.
Oh man,
but the game will be, and I think that. And now here's something else. To me, if you look, you know, perfect example is what Mark Wilson has done with the college he's at, like Linwood. I mean,
Lindenwood.
Now, how cool would it be for the industry if all of a sudden, how many colleges are in this country?
Yeah. And they all used to have student union buildings with billiard rooms.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, if there would be any way to kind of grow that, you know, I mean, that to me is something, you know, but thinking that there's going to be 10 and 15,000 square foot facilities that hold 15 and 20 pool tables, it's crazy.
No, I agree with that. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So let's talk a little bit. We're kind of running along on time, but I wanted to. This is not the in the weeds detail, but I wanted to give everybody a high level explanation of our two leagues
of who we are, what we do,
that we operate.
Cool.
And they're very different. So this is the 10,000 foot view. You can get more detail on our websites, or simply contact us.
Yep.
So we have CSI is the parent company of the BCA Pool League and the USA Pool League.
What's CSI mean?
CueSports International.
Thank you. I have a new, somebody just tuned in.
There you go. CueSports International. So we have the BCA Pool League and the USA Pool League, and most people say, why in the world would you have two leagues? Here's why. They're very, very different, and depending on what type of play you prefer, you're going to prefer one over the other. The BCA Pool League, which has been around since
1978, was the first national tournament league. It's the oldest.
It was a great year, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You would know. It was a blip. It's the BCA Pool League is the longest running national tournament for a national league.
The BCA Pool League is a league sanctioning body. This is important to keep in mind. A lot of people contact us with various issues with their local league, and they want us to intervene and get things right. Here's the facts. We're a league sanctioning organization. So a league operator out in Wichita, for example, may have a league that they've had for years. It's their league. They have the systems to run it. They have the player information. They've been doing it for 15 years. And they decide, hey, I'd like my league to be part of something bigger, so I'm going to sanction with the BCA Pool League. And they sanction with us. When they do that, we don't take control of their league. We don't own it. We don't operate it. We're a sanctioning organization. The league operator maintains ownership of their league. They maintain the control. They determine the format, the structure,
the rules,
payouts,
the
rules,
bylaws, everything.
Everything. It's their league. They've chosen to become part of our system. We offer protection of night policy for BCA Pool League operators. What that means is if you're in Las Vegas and you run a BCA Pool League on Tuesday nights in 5 locations, for example, we're not going to sanction another league in the same area on the same night. They would compete with one another, and that wouldn't be good. However, there can be another league in that area on a different night because they're not seen as competitors. So we don't grant protected areas or territories, but we do protect the night of play within your area.
There's no franchise or even a license per se.
I'm getting to that. So the benefits of sanctioning with the BCA Pool League: eligibility to play in the BCAPL National Championships, eligibility to play in BCAPL state, regional, and even local events, free online league management software, league promotional materials. We'll send you posters, patches, pins, all kinds of things to promote your league in your locations. Downloadable comprehensive rule book if you choose to use our rules.
And most people do. We're the accepted BCA rules.
Personalized league membership card, membership discounts, which is something people don't take advantage of, but they really should. You can get deep discounts on diamond pool tables, Billiards Digest subscriptions, rental car companies, hotels, lots of discounts, and they're all on our website. We offer CTS for a lot of our state, regional, and of course our national events. That's the CueSports tournament system, live brackets, awesome results.
It's pretty cool stuff.
Everything you did, it's really interactive.
You can go by and look at last year's and previous year's histories, and it's
full-time national office support. That's where we are tonight. Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 Pacific time. We're here. We're answering the phones. We're answering emails. Anything you have.
There's like 8 or 9 of us here.
You won't get a bot. You'll get to talk to somebody and we'll answer your question. And, importantly, league credibility. If you have a small local league off in the middle of nowhere and you want it to be more credible, you want to be part of something bigger, you can sanction with the BCA Pool League, and it adds credibility to your league. All that, the cost to sanction your league is $15 per player per year. That's it. There's no franchise fee. There's no join fee, no service fee, none of that. No. $15 sanction fee per player for a whole year. You enjoy all those benefits. But keep in mind, it's a sanctioning body. It doesn't own your league. That switches over to a conversation about the USA Pool League. Very, very different. The USA Pool League is a nationally structured league system. Every league follows the same format, same handicap system, the same essential structure, payout method, etc. It's all set in stone. That league does offer protected regions. So if you come to us and you want to be a league manager for the USA Pool League in Las Vegas, Nevada, and we move forward and you're a league manager with the USA Pool League in that area, nobody else can start a USA Pool League in that region. Nobody. It's yours. Guess what the franchise fee for that is?
Oh, I know. It's terribly high.
Some league organizations will charge thousands of dollars for that.
Thousands and thousands.
Zero. League manager pays nothing for that protected territory.
And
Let me repeat that. League managers pay nothing for a protected territory with the USA Pool League.
true. And they own it.
Benefits of being a USA Pool League manager. Some of these are the same as the BCA Pool League. Eligibility for USAPL National Championships, eligibility for USAPL state, regional, and local events, the Fair Play Handicap System. Now, don't want to get too far in the weeds on an explanation of what that is, but essentially it's a handicap system that spits out a rating based purely on a mathematical equation of how you perform.
Performance.
There's no subjectivity.
Performance based.
You're not locked in because you had a good night. There's none of that. And I believe, Mark, you can back this up, but that system, over like a so many year period, they analyzed it and had about a 70% rate of going hill.
It's over 70%. It's close to 20 years.
So it truly does level the playing
And
field.
that's partly because of the rules, and then obviously the way the formulas are constructed. You know.
Yep. Free online league management software. Players can log on, check out their individual stats, their team stats, how are they doing, all of that stuff. Again, league promotional materials, posters, patches, pins, whatever the case may be. Downloadable rule book, same as the BCA Pool League.
Yeah, a lot of similarities between the two.
Same membership discounts. Again, CTS for state, regional, national tournaments, national office support, and league credibility. Now, guess what the fee is per player for, if you're a league manager out there or a potential league manager, your players.
To play in the
This
USA Pool
this is
League.
what they have to pay every year.
The donut,
Nothing.
zero.
There is no yearly membership fee, unlike a lot of sanctioning or league systems. It's set in stone. There is no franchise fees. We're not a franchise system. We do give you a protected territory for zero, and your players pay zero membership fee. That's the high-level explanation of both of our league products.
There's two other things that probably, it's not a requirement, it seems to be the way it is. Most BCA pool leagues are round-robin format. If, say, you have a 4 or 5-man team, 4-man team, each person pays the other people one time. So it's 16 games you play the other people. Most USA Pool League are match play.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, if I'm a 68 and I'm playing an 82, or whatever the case may be, we play each other, we're done for the night. Similar to several of the other national leagues. So that's the two styles, round robin and match play. And so we've elected that we think that there's enough difference between the two that we should offer one of each style because they are quite different in structure. But if you look around to see what's out there, you're going to find that the BCA Pool League will sanction any existing league. We don't care what rules you play. We don't care what game you play. When you determine who's coming to our nationals, and any player can come to the nationals. You can be the worst player in your league, worst team, and still play in our nationals. You will play our game by our rules, which are standard rules. But everything has to be standardized at the national level. And with the USA Pool League, it's pretty much standard all the way across. So.
Yep.
But we provide more and charge less than anybody else out there.
And just kind of a side note, I've only been here for 7 or 8 months, but we are getting more people contacting us via email, phone, fax, whatever the case may be. According to all these folks in the office, we're getting more calls from folks that are interested in either starting a league or sanctioning their existing league than ever before. And that's a very good sign. We've stayed busy really for months, and it seems to be increasing.
Yeah, it's
the number of people that we're getting at, and I think in a lot of cases people are actually kind of waking up to.
Well,
some people don't want to lose control of their league, so they see the BCA Pool League, for example, and they say, "Oh, it's a great avenue for me." Some people want to be in that structured system, so there's no argument about all these things. And the USA Pool League is right for them, and it's a no-cost method to get started.
Well, and I'm not going to sit here and badmouth the competition because everybody has the way they want to do it. But with the USA Pool League, if it's done by the way we suggest, you'll be sending about 8% to 10% of your teams come to the nationals. Whereas a lot of the other national leagues, they send 2%.
Yep.
And it's time for a change. And we think that we've got the right answer. So if you're interested, call us. It's like a no obligation. It's like we should, on TV, come right in.
702-719-7665 or toll free at
866 USA Pool.
That's easy.
That's an easy one.
Even you can remember
And
that.
you can call the BCA on the USA Pool. One office, one number, but we got a lot of different lines.
All right, real quick, the most important part of the broadcast is Griffinisms.
Oh yeah, well
you didn't give me much to work with.
I know.
All right, Mark runs out of his office. He gets everybody's attention, which means he stops about 7 people from working.
Oh man.
And he stands up and he yells out, "What day is Tuesday?"
I did that, huh?
You did that.
I don't believe you. I just don't believe you.
All right, one more. This was not from you.
Oh, good.
It was from someone else on staff. I'm not going to say any names, Glenna Stock. But she spit it out. She spit out a Griffinism. She comes downstairs today and she says, "I was on the phone and they tried to sell me something for free."
Yeah, that's a good one. Try to sell me something for free. Okay.
And this is not a Griffinism, but Mark, you said it right before we started recording this podcast, and I'm going to mention it because I'd like a demonstration. Mark says, "I'm going to take online singing lessons. I don't want to be too good because then Barry Berman will want me to sing at the U.S. Open."
Yeah, right.
So I'd like to see a small demonstration of your skills.
No.
Come on, Justin, don't you want to see? You want to hear this?
No, see.
No,
see?
Justin doesn't even want to hear.
No, but that's okay. I'll sing incognito. I'll sing a solo.
That'd be great.
Solo, you can't hear it.
Goodness.
No, it's that's the first time you've heard it. Well,
That's actually pretty funny.
You are a child. That's as bad as the bear jokes. You did hear about the gay bear, right?
Oh.
God. Hey, what does a gay horse eat?
I'm afraid to ask.
Hey.
Okay.
Folks, I'm not associated with these two folks.
Well, mine was my.
All right, on to questions from AZ Billiards. Questions from AZ Billiards. Wedge says, "Joe Tucker recently visited Maryland and North Virginia prior to heading south to promote the American Rotation Series. Karen Core and I visited 4 rooms yesterday to help Joe get the series started in Maryland, and I'm confident that we will have at least 2 on board for the next series that starts on September 22nd.
And he put in a later post that he tried the game. He actually ran 2 racks. So he must be a pretty sporty player.
He's a pretty good player. Yeah.
And really loved the game. Anybody, you were in one of the American Billiard Club, American rotation programs, and it's a great game. I've only played it a couple of times.
It's a good game.
It is a good game. It's and it's designed for the player that wants to get a little bit better. So many players have got this handicap mentality. What are you going to spot me? Well, you're not going to get any better there. This is designed for the person that wants to see how do they match up, and it's a method for you to play in your local room and have a clear path to a national championship and not cost you a fortune. Cost you $20 a week times 8 or 9 weeks. Somebody out of that group is going to Vegas with a minimum of $1,000.
I qualified. How hard could it be?
You're absolutely right. Must not be. We need to have a background check on our players.
And I'm going to bring this up for the 12th time. When I qualified, I beat the guy that some people are saying can run away with.
Oh, Mr. Michael DeShane?
There you go.
Everybody can be beat. Although his game has picked up a notch or 3. He's playing pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Green Hornet. By the way, Green Hornet is a guy that is near and dear to our heart. Twice now, he has generously donated his time and energy to help us at tournaments. The first time was the U.S. Bar Table Championships, and the second time was at our BCAPL Nationals.
Comes out and just wants to...
I don't know if he wants me to say his name, so I won't, but he is a fantastic guy to be around.
Great dude, man.
Yeah.
He is a great guy.
Very cool guy.
Yeah.
And boy, he works.
Well, he
would show up in the morning.
He wants to come every year. He wants to take his vacation, come and help us. I think it's cool. Listen, what we do is pretty fascinating for an outsider looking in. We touch a lot of moving parts, and when for the pool freak, I mean, this is nirvana.
I'm going to snag him one day.
Yeah, you go right ahead.
You hear that, Green Hornet? He writes, "Hey, Mark and Ozzy, hoping to hear that the U.S. Open One Pocket tournament will be separated from the U.S. Bar Table Championships." You heard it earlier. "At the 2014 Bar Table Championships, I overheard one of the best one pocket players in this country, Mark Griffin, I guess, talking with another pro about the difficulty of jumping back and forth between the bar table and the 9-footers.
Tough action.
And there's a little more explanation. Well, yeah, we agree. It's just not a good fit, plus the other things that Mark explained. So it will be separated. Not sure what we'll do with the one pocket.
I really want one pocket to stick around. We've had it for 10, 12 years, and it's the logistics thing again, you can't move tables across the country, set them up for a week, tear them back down, and expect to come out. So, I don't know. We'll come up with something. I even had the thought of doing an 8-man invitational one pocket and have it between the 10-ball and the 8-ball. Something, they have 8 qualifiers or something, and get each winner of a qualifier comes. Qualifiers in this country just don't work very well. They sound great on paper, but man, they just do not work. So, I don't know. But we will do something. It's about pool when we really we had a long absence from our nationals, but that's a lot of work. It takes a lot of staff. We move our whole office for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks almost.
Yep.
It's pretty brutal.
The last comment we've already addressed. Mark, have you and Joe discussed the possibility of creating a pro league utilizing American rotation? That was the intent all along. It just doesn't seem to be getting traction with any of the pros.
Yeah, that's top players are not used to being structured, is the way that Mr. Tucker said it. And I have to agree. It's unfortunate, but it's part of what Justin was talking about. Half these people that are pros aren't pros. Well,
well, the thing is, the ones who really are pros, you're never going to get in that format anyway.
Yeah.
They travel too much.
True.
So.
Oh yeah, how would you like? I mean, Shane's flying schedule and Appleton, some of those guys. That's nuts.
Yeah. It's.
Yeah. So. I don't know what.
I remember a conversation I had with, I can't remember if it was Joe or Don Owen, but he said the pros just aren't playing, and I looked at him. I said, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the structure is more important than the players.
Yep.
If you can build the structure and get, it's just, I'm a firm believer that added money is just crush this game.
It's almost a poison.
It's 100% a poison. Yeah. And it's just, until that is gone, and it's going to take a generation, and it's going to suck. But when that's gone, and you look at, everybody's always comparing pool to everything else. You said it. What else has got added money?
Yeah.
That's not generate. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm beating a dead horse. I probably shouldn't even say this, but the proof to what you just said, Justin, was when I started the Action Pool Tour back east. When I first formulated how that was going to be structured, I started contacting rooms and explained the format and what I was trying to do. And I asked the rooms to pitch in with some added money because we're generating traffic so that they can make money, and the tour needed to share in that benefit. And they were okay with that. But they said, well, how much are you going to advertise added? And I said, I'm not going to advertise it. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to add it to the prize fund and let the payouts speak for itself. But I'm not going to go up here and say 1,000 added or 500 added. I'm not going to get into that game for a number of reasons, which I won't go into. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them, I shouldn't say a lot of them, a couple of them said that'll never work. You're not going to get anybody to show up unless you advertise added money. I said, well, we're going to find out, aren't we? The turnouts got better and better and better, and I never once had anybody come up to me and complain about the added money or the tour kept $100 out of the prize fund. All of that went away. The payouts spoke for themselves. Players loved it. And you know what? To prove your point, Justin, They liked the tournament. It wasn't about, I got to cash 7th, 8th to break even. They wanted to go play.
Yeah.
And that's what they did.
And that's what you have to
and
bring
I
back.
think if we can ever get away from the idea, Roy Spinell, I've said it 100 times, it's the best explanation I've ever seen. He said you got two guys on a Friday night. They both got $100 in their pocket. One's going to go out, and he's going to spend his $100 on having a good time on Friday night. He's either going to go to a movie, or he's going to go to dinner, or he's going to go play golf the next morning. Whatever it is, he's going to spend that 100, and as long as he has a good time, he feels like he got value.
Yeah.
The other guy's got $100. He's going to go out and play pool, and if he doesn't come home with more than he left with, he's going to feel like he got screwed over.
Yeah.
We got way too many of one and not enough of the other.
Absolutely.
No,
And-
they've
and
lost
until
the
it-
pleasure of the game.
And until the mindset changes, and I'm talking about to grow the sport. Now, people are going to say, "Well, you just sell that because you're in the business of selling pool," and to a certain extent, that's kind of true. But at the same point, if you want something to grow and create more opportunities, then if all anybody gives a shit about is how much money they can put in their pocket on an amateur level, it's never going to grow.
The mindset has to change, and you're right. A lot of amateur pool players, they might be good players, but they're amateurs.
Mm-hmm.
Feel like they deserve
Deserve, yeah. A lot of people are entitled, aren't they?
to essentially make money at pool.
Yeah.
And there are very few people that can make a living in any sport.
Oh yeah.
Any sport. Look at NFL. There's billions of dollars in the NFL. There's not many people that make a living at football. So you don't see amateur football players walking out the door expecting to come home with more money than left with. They go out and play and have a good time. That mindset has got to change, because everybody can't come home with more money than they left with.
True.
But
But
and,
it's
you
not-
shouldn't come back feeling like you had a miserable time. It's about enjoying the game.
But look where we are. That this is the 21st century now. The whole country is built around greed. And pool's emulating society. I mean, it's all about me anymore. And when you want to grow the sport and everything, it's got to be about enjoying the moment. And so many people don't. Everything is monetary based, and it's not a
Well, I think
not a healthy environment.
well, I
for
think
pool
at
or
least
anything
I think
else.
at least in pool, we as an industry as a whole did it to ourselves
Absolutely.
with perfect. I mean, there ain't no better example.
Look
If you
behind
pan
us.
around this room,
Yeah.
what are all those numbers?
Yeah.
And honestly, those numbers are misleading. You look at that number and you see that says $600,000. That's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
You mean if I play pool, I can go to a tournament and there's $600,000 there?
And they cut
Yeah, it
2,500
doesn't-
checks.
Yeah, exactly.
We paid I think the one year we wrote like 3,300 checks.
Right. So to me,
But it's
so I mean that just feeds right into
It
that
does.
disappointment and negative attitude. And well, shit, I went out there for 6 weeks and I only made $82.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, we've all heard it how many times?
Yeah.
What's the two complaints you hear every Nationals? Not enough money, and food.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah. Well, we keep plugging away. I mean, we're not giving up the ship.
And you guys do your best. I mean, you're always creating new divisions, and you're doing. I can't even keep up with all the stuff
We
you
can't
guys
either.
do. I mean,
It's-
to try to satisfy people. The other thing I think that really kind of hurts. You can't. And now it's so ingrained in the game, you can't get away from it. Is the handicaps.
Handicapping has ruined pool,
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned. Now, you notice like our USA Pool League is a rating system with the handicap being the difference between two players. But BCA Pool League, we're scratch. I mean, it's not handicap. Although we do open, intermediate, advanced. We do a little bit of by stage or something. But when I grew up, you just got better. Or you played people your own speed.
Mm-hmm.
You just didn't go up and say, I need the 8-ball or the 7-ball or 12 games on the wire. The mentality has changed.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but we're, I don't know. I'm not trying to like gloom or doom. We're not going anywhere.
No, I mean to
Try to
me,
make it
you
better.
can't fix something unless you identify what the problems are.
Yeah.
And I think
I got to
people are
say,
starting to see.
with the internal changes that we've made and some of the external changes that we've either made are going to make.
Process of,
I'm excited about
That's
the
what
future.
excited looks like?
Yes, very excited.
Look, there's hair growing.
I'm very excited. I think we're on a terrific path.
So do I.
Terrific path forward.
You know, and a lot of this is the aftermath of the moving to the Rio. It changed things.
Yeah.
And we had this discussion. It opens up so many more avenues. And yeah, it's not
Well,
all
I mean,
gravy.
if you look
there's
if
good
you
things
look
and
at what's
bad.
happened, I mean, the last 5 years in pool has been a disaster on a pro side.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Pro pool.
And I mean, on a pro side. But if you look at what's happened, at least with CSI, you got an amazing new venue up in Reno. I mean, that's still to this day, that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
People don't give it any credit because a lot of people, only so many people get to go to that event. But for the game as a whole, when you have events in those venues, it allows people from outside. Well, I mean, just at high-end venues. Now it allows you, people walking by can say, "Oh, damn, that looks kind of cool. This is a nice place."
Mm-hmm.
They look in that ballroom and it looks neat when you just see it. Whereas, if you're stuck in a hallway at the Sands, for 25 years, which, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
But it's, and then now with the Rio, I mean, those are positive things.
They are positive things. Mm-hmm. And all the software changes and all the live streaming changes and all the awareness things and, oh, and Ozzy, yeah.
Nice.
The Wizard of Ozzy.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we should wrap this up because I have to go to my singing lesson. Yeah.
I hope you're tired tomorrow.
Yeah.
But
all right,
what are we scheduling now? We're going to try and do a podcast every 2 weeks?
Every 2 weeks. And again, as Mark said when we opened up, we used to do these live on Thursday night.
Now we're doing
and then they would go to the YouTube channel by Friday. Very, very, very low viewership for the live stream. Everybody finds it more convenient to just watch it on YouTube. So, with the flow, we're just going to record these. I'll get to beep out anything crazy he says, and we'll just upload them to YouTube on Friday.
I'll try to come up with some more Alaskan stories for all you Port people. I had some great Alaskan stories. We have some Alaskan discussions.
Before you get started, I'm going to leave. You
too.
and Justin stay here. He can cut and then start again, and we can do a separate Alaska story video.
No.
You don't want to stay for that?
No. Say goodnight, Mark.
Say goodnight, Mark. Thank you, Justin, for he set up our portable streaming wagon.
Wagon of streaming.
We put a bar table in here. We can have some action.
Yeah, well, you guys wouldn't like that.
Good night, everybody.
Yes, thank you very much. See you in 2 weeks. That's like Nixon. I remember Nixon.